All right. So this is the end of week 5 of the 6-week challenge to go from 0 to 6K a month in 6 weeks. We're wrapping up 5 weeks now, and it's been good. Things have been moving really, really fast these past couple weeks, and I've been slacking on content because of it. But that changes now. We're working really hard, and that includes this. So I have been working very hard, like I said. Because of that, I strongly value my sleep. All right, I always am very ruthlessly strict with it, and I don't let anything interfere with it. I have a whole wind down routine and everything to protect my sleep and make sure it's as good as possible. And I've had to cut into it recently. A few things have changed around the house, and I've needed to do things outside of just working on the business and my own personal needs. I'm trying to serve the family more and be a man, become a man, and help my family. And so because of that, I am now needing to get less sleep and fit more time into the day to do all different types of work. So I had been getting like 8 to 9 hours. Now I'm getting 6-ish. So we're coming back and we're working hard, but I love it, dude. I really love it. Some days it feels like you're getting kicked in the face, but it's a trial, and that trial, it's growing me unlike anything else. It's developing me in ways that you can only acquire by going through it. There's only one way to achieve some of these things and gain some of these character traits. This is it, and I love it. It's a ton of fun. It's a different type of self-respect. When I look at myself in the mirror at the gym, and it's 6 a.m., and I know the amount of work I did yesterday, and then staying up till like 11 o'clock at night, still working and still reading on stuff. And I get up at 6 in the morning, and I'm looking at myself in the gym. I'm like, heck yeah, dude, we're doing this. It develops a different type of self-respect and a different type of discipline that you can't get anywhere else. You can't force it. You can't fake it. It's only by doing those things. And it's a ton of fun. And so with that being said, I want to say that balance is kind of a lie. It's a complete lie, in fact, told to you, I believe, to keep you weak and to keep you non-influential. But in gaining influence, you need to be developing in multiple different areas, not just the one. Think of the masters of any given field. They're extremely talented, and they've mastered one specific skill or whatever field they're in. But the best of the best, part of what makes them the best of the best is that in addition to becoming a master, they're also very interesting in another field. They're multi-talented. They're very skilled at a number of different things, or very knowledgeable in a number of different fields. And that's what makes them so interesting and influential. This goes back to how I want to become a polymath and how I've talked about that. I want to be extremely talented in many different fields, not just business or not just reading or whatever. I want to be talented in a ton of different areas. I want to be a master of many. And while I'm working very, very hard building this business, I soon am going to be able to re-begin reading and learning more. And so like right now I'm reading, sure, but it's primarily only on the business and things, but I'm right at that edge where I'm about to start being able to read all of these things again. So they've kind of just had to take a back burner, but that's a part of it. It's not about balance. You're not supposed to balance, but you are supposed to shift and manage and process all of the different things. You're supposed to be able to manage all of the different facets of the things going on. It's not about balance and having it all evenly distributed. It's about, if you're spinning plates, sometimes this one's going to need to spin a little bit faster than this one. It's not about spinning them all at the same time, at the same speed. You're accommodating and you're shifting your attention back and forth, and then eventually you become a master at all of it. And so right now, that's really bad advice. If you're taking this and you're like, oh yeah, I should become the best in the gym and I should become the most influential and learn how to code and pick up girls and become a businessman all at the same time, that's completely bad advice. Do not do that. But there is a way to achieve the art of the polymath and become very interesting and very knowledgeable in all these different areas. And so that's going to lead me on to my next point. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But with that being said about the reading thing, look what came in the mail today. I am so excited for this thing. So this is the signed copy that I was talking about in the homeschool conference vlog. Signed copy. It basically is like a biography of the United States. It's written in the fashion of a biography, and so it's everything. And yeah, I'm just extremely excited to read it. It's probably gonna have to wait a minute. I'm not gonna be hitting it for a minute, but it's gonna sit on my shelf, and I'm really excited for when that time does come. So yeah, like I was saying, in theme with that, something that I've come up with this week is the idea of not getting distracted. Okay? What I mean by this is if you define the word, if you really break it down, phonetically it says dis, which is a prefix, tracted. Tract, as in like a track, a railroad track. And it's spelled different. The word Dis-Tract-Ed is meaning that your car, your railroad car, this is the example I'm going to use here, is not getting pulled off of its track. Okay? If you are pulling yourself in all these different directions, you're never going to go in the way that you're supposed to go. You're going to make a little distance here, you're going to make a little distance there, but you're never going to go fully forward on the track you're supposed to be on. So if you don't get distracted, and you can block out the noise of the world, you can block out the noise of bad ideas and bad advice and all of the things that your Instagram feed's trying to tell you. If you can block all of those things out, not pay attention to the low priority tasks, you gain the ability to achieve all of these different things. You are able to manage and process and shift your focuses a little bit, shift priorities back and forth. Don't get stuck in being pseudo productive. You can say, oh, I work 12 hours a day, or I work 14 hours a day. Are you really working for 12 to 14 hours a day? Because I probably don't think so. If that's the case, you'd be making stupid amounts of progress. But I don't think that's the case. You know, I work a lot. I'm working on the business and all of these different things for pretty much every moment that I'm awake. But in between there, I've determined that, like, a lot of it sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes I get lost in a rabbit trail of like refreshing my email inboxes and responding to things like that. That's not really productive. Those aren't needle moving tasks, but it's working. Now after having the mentorship, most of my time is going towards outreach, and that is a needle moving task. But you know, when you're really focusing in on that for, let's say, 5 hours of your day, the other hours are going to have decrease in productivity because you're focusing on all these other different things. If you are really going in on one thing and you're working really hard at that, your level of output is going to decrease in other things, and you're not going to get as much real work done. So just cut out the pseudo productivity. Say instead of working for 10 hours where you're doing all this pseudo productivity and making real progress maybe for 2 of those hours, work for 8 hours instead of 10 hours and make progress during 5 or 6 of those hours, like real work. If you can maximize the amount of time you're doing real work, then that's how you're able to incorporate all these different things where you're always progressing in lots of different areas. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm holding myself accountable to that, though. I'm trying to not get caught up in pseudo productivity and fake stuff that's not really moving the needle. I want to make real progress. And I am still going to be working along a whole bunch of my time. But I want to cut out all my Instagram thing because that's just numbing yourself. That's giving yourself like cheap relief. And instead of that, I want to go full in. It's like, all right, if I'm going to say I need a time to relax or I need a time to unwind, whatever. But if you take that and turn it into productive relaxation, this is what I really want to do. I really want to spend time reading this. I really want to spend time playing chess. And those things are productive. Those things are edifying. And so if you cut out the times that it's like fake relaxation, and you turn that into real relaxation, you're actually going to be able to unwind, and you're actually going to be able to rest and recover. And that in turn is going to actually be able to boost your productivity, because you go back into work legitimately recovered, instead of working for 14 hours productive, sleeping, and waking up the next morning having like 60% of your capacity for work. You're just constantly taking your way. And if you really rest and recover, that's why I've always prioritized sleep. If you really are resting and recovering, really focusing on relaxation, you're going to become more productive, and your output's going to increase. And so I'm maximizing the time of real legitimate work and minimizing the amount of time that I have to spend like relaxing. But when I do spend that time, I'm going to spend it on the legitimate things that are going to help me rest and recover. So that's something that I've been working on this week. It's been like this big epiphany, and something that I want to hold myself accountable to. Now, to return to the progress and the agency. One of the things that I've been working on recently with my mentor is we had discussed the fact that I hadn't been following up with people. And I recently had that as a big hole in my lead acquisition strategy. Stupid, I know. It's completely stupid. But now I am starting to follow up with people. I've implemented this system of continually following up with people. Basically calling them more than one time. Before I'd call them and they'd say no, it's like, okay, well, no. Well, I still kind of do that, but that's besides the point. I call back the people that are like only it's kind of a bad time right now. Before I just leave that. Like I said, stupid, I know. But I just don't have to go back through the lead sheets and all that kind of stuff. Now we're doing the work of organizing all that. But I've actually developed this entire multi-step lead acquisition system where I'm able to have an entire pipeline to gain new clients. And so it's kind of like, if you've got a marketing campaign, you've got a funnel strategy, you've got your top of funnel content, your bottom of funnel content. I'm now going to be going for brand awareness through things like emails, multi-touch, like I said, and then you call back and you send an email after call, and you email and call and email and call, and you just do that over and over and over, and multiple touches, multiple chances for them to get used to seeing you, used to hearing you. They grow familiar with you, and they're intrigued, and you're going to have a bigger chance of actually having them come on as a client. So that's the way that I'm going to be going about it now. It's helping a ton already. I've got people in the pipeline right now. And so I've really learned and grown a ton from the sheer amount of work I've been doing. And I'm changing, I'm developing, and like I was saying earlier, I'm working on stuff around the house now in ways that I wasn't before. I'm developing into a man, trying to take care of my family and care for them in different ways, and really take on this huge mantle of responsibility. But the work is growing me, and it's still completely in the cards for us to hit the goal. I've got clients in the pipeline that could convert into that, and so I know it's a week left and there hasn't been any major huge we did it guys, but it's coming, and I'm not going to stop pushing. There's people in this pipeline this upcoming week. I'm expecting things to go very well, and even when the technical challenge ends, the work's not going to stop. I'm not just going to be like, all right, we did it, vacation, woo, we're done. No, it's not how that works. I'm not going to be stopping. We're just going to continue to upgrade and take everything up from here. Work's being done. I'm growing an immense amount, and a ton is coming right now. In a few weeks here, 2 weeks from yesterday, it's Friday right now, there's this huge book fair in my city that I'm just super excited for. So I'm going to be I'm taking footage of that. I'm recording you, taking you with me, and showing that. Probably buy a ton of books. So excited for that. And then we've got a trip planned. So I'm going to be going on a trip, and same thing. I'm going to recording everything there. I'm really wanting to make that a good video. Turn that into a good one. So that's some of the content to come this next few weeks. We're going to be recording several other things. I've got some ideas, and lots of work, working harder than ever, getting the most done, and always developing more than yesterday. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. We just hit 50 subscribers. I want to document that, so when I look back at this, I'm like, how much following did I have at this point? We got 52 subscribers as of recording this video, so I appreciate that. Really do. And yeah, I'm going to be doing more content, working hard. And so, with that being said, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.